Thinking that you need fresh fruit juices is definitely holding you back as a home bartender, and in this video, I'm going to be explaining exactly why that's true. My name is Ron Virpin. I'm a full-time medical doctor, and I've been a home bartender for over 5 years now. During that time, I've learned how to make over 100 different cocktails, and I've thrown over 50 cocktail parties. And I teach other busy professionals how to make cocktails at home. In this video, I'm going to be explaining exactly why you are not too good to be using bottled juices like the ones that I have in front of me. As I explained in the intro to this video, I've been a home bartender for over 5 years now. And during that entire time, I have used bottled juices for lime juice, lemon juice, grapefruit juice, cranberry juice, pineapple juice, orange juice, whatever juice is out there. If I've used it in a cocktail, it's come from a bottle as opposed to actually using fresh fruits for that. And there's a couple of reasons why. And if you think that you are too good for bottled juices, or if you need to use fresh fruits or something like that, it's probably holding you back as a home bartender. And I feel very qualified to say that because it definitely held me back when I was not even a home bartender yet. When I was just an aspiring home bartender, when I was thinking about getting into home bartending, I read books on home bartending. I went to blogs and read different websites and things like that on bartending and learning how to make cocktails. I watched tons of YouTube videos on how to make cocktails, and pretty much all of them, almost exclusively, were saying that you need to have fresh fruits. And I just think that's way too impractical as a home bartender. Will I be the first to admit that fresh fruits do have an advantage over bottled juices in terms of flavor profile and things like that? Absolutely. I'm not stupid. I won't deny that. I think fresh fruits are definitely better than bottled juices in terms of the flavor profile. But I think that the difference is only marginal, and bottled juices have so many other advantages, especially as a home bartender, that they essentially outweigh the taste and flavor benefits and make it so that bottled juices are actually the #1 preferred choice over fresh fruits when you're a home bartender. And I can't stress this enough in this video and all my other videos as well. When you're a home bartender, you're literally making cocktails. By definition, you are making cocktails in your own home, your own house, or your own apartment. And as you can tell, I'm recording this literally in my own kitchen, in my own apartment. That's not by like any coincidence or anything like that. That's by intention, because this is literally my own home bar. When people come to my apartment and they ask me to make cocktails, I'm doing it from this exact spot right here where I'm recording these videos. You know, I have my kitchen behind me. Over there's my fridge and my freezer. This is the setup that most people have when they're making cocktails at home. You guys are not professional bartenders. You're like myself. You're busy professionals. Maybe you have busy personal lives. You have families. You have kids, partners, things like you have a partner, things like that. You can't really go out and spend all your time obsessing over bartending and making it your whole life. And you know, you have other things going on in your life. You have a busy job. You have kids. You have a partner. You have family. Things like that. Other things that are more important. And home bartending is a hobby. You do still want it to be an important hobby. Don't get me wrong on that. You still want it to be an important hobby. You want to make high quality cocktails. You want to take pride when your friends and family come over to your apartment for a cocktail that you make a quality cocktail. And fresh fruits will give you an advantage in terms of taste and flavor, but bottled juices more than make up for that with the advantages they have in other areas. And the two main advantages they have, one is shelf stability, and the other is just simply like space saving, basically. So for example, this bottle of lime juice, in terms of space saving, this contains 16 ounces of lime juice. The average lime, although limes are small, the average lime contains somewhere between 1/2 and 1 ounce of lime juice. So this simple bottle takes up the same amount of space, or should I say, sorry, this exact bottle has the same amount of juice as somewhere between 16 and 32 limes. So in terms of space saving, it's an obvious answer. What's smaller? Is this smaller, or is 16 to 32 limes smaller? It's obviously this. So when you're making drinks in your own, literally out of your own kitchen, you know, you're using that same pantry space, that same countertop space, that same fridge space that you're also using to store your food. And if you live with other people, also going to be storing the food that is for them as well. You can't really be taking up all the space with giant fruit bowls filled with limes and lemons and pineapples and whatever the case may be. And once you cut them, you can't just be clogging up your fridge with all these things as well. Just do something like this. Buy a simple bottle like this. Takes up the same amount of space as 16 to 30, has the same amount of juice as 16 to 32 limes, but it takes up way less space. And that's true for lemons, that's true for pineapple juice, whatever the case may be. These are going to be taking up way less space. And on top of that, these are also way more shelf stable. Before you open them, you can essentially store them nearly indefinitely in your pantry or something like that, as long as it's a cool, dark spot. And then once you open it, you can also store it in your fridge after that for quite a long time. Most of these have quite long shelf stability. For example, this bottle of lemon juice, it says really like best if used by June 17th, 2026. That's 5 months ago. And I also bought this bottle of lemon juice, sorry. I didn't buy it today. I bought it I don't know exactly when, but I would say probably like 1 to 2 months ago. So it can really last quite a long time. Even on the actual date here, it says that this can last for another 5 months from now. And I also didn't buy it today. I bought it a couple months ago. So that shelf stability of on the order of months, which you can get with things like bottled juices, you can't really get that at all with fresh fruits. So when you're a home bartender, these just become more practical. They take up way less space and they also last a lot longer. So you're not going to be having to throw out ingredients, because as a home bartender, this is the difference between you and professional bartenders. Professional bartenders, every night they're going to be making so many different cocktails. They're going to be making tons of cocktails all the time. So they can use fresh fruits because those juices will get used up. They won't be going to waste. When you're a home bartender like myself, you're not making cocktails every day. You're making them, maybe you're throwing a party once a month, maybe like once a week you have a date night with your partner, and then once every like 1 to 2 months you have a bigger gathering where you have a few friends over. Maybe like once every couple weeks you unwind after a busy day with your coworkers, something like that, where you're making cocktails maybe like 3-4 times a month at most, something like that, maybe even just like once or twice a month. And even when you do make cocktails, you're making like 2 cocktails, or maybe you're making 5 cocktails, 10 cocktails, something like that. This is way different than a professional bartender where you're just making cocktails constantly. Every night you're making tons and tons of cocktails. You're going to be using your lime juice and lemon juice and orange juice and whatever other juices you have. When you're a home bartender, that's not the case. Every time you make cocktails, even if you throw a big party, maybe you make like 30 to 60 cocktails in one night. Even then, that still might only be like once every couple months, maybe once every month and even in my peak, in my heyday of making cocktails and throwing all these parties, I was doing something like that every couple weeks. It wasn't even like, and that's still way different than professional bartenders. Because professional bartenders, at a single bar, there might be like 3 or 4 bartenders, and each of them is making like 200 cocktails in a given night, something like that. That's not the case for you. You're just making cocktails every once in a while to throw parties, to unwind after a busy day, to have a small gathering with a few friends and loved ones, to have a date night with your partner, things like that. That's what you're going to be making cocktails for. You can't be always making cocktails. So you want something that has good shelf, in terms of all your ingredients, not just fruit juices, but all your ingredients. You want something that has good shelf stability. You want something that will last a long time. You want something that doesn't take up a lot of space because you're making these cocktails in your own kitchen. Shelf space is valuable. Countertop space is valuable. Pantry space is valuable. Fridge space is valuable. Freezer space is valuable. You don't want to be wasting these things because you're making things out of your kitchen. This is not an actual bar. That should just be obvious, but your kitchen is also used to feed yourself and feed your family, to hold food, things like that. And you don't want to be taking up all this space. You don't want to be pouring out ingredients and wasting things. You want to be always running to the grocery store to buy fresh fruits. So although fresh fruits do have that slight advantage, in my opinion, in terms of taste and flavor profile, bottled juices definitely outweigh all those and more than make up for that difference in terms of shelf stability and in terms of space saving. And then overall, in terms of practicality, way more practical. What use is something like fresh fruits? Although, yeah, sure, they're better. But when you're a home bartender, you want something that you will actually use, something that will actually get you making cocktails. And bottled juices are going to be that. Trust me, I've thought about getting into home bartending probably like for 5 or 6 years before I finally did. And this is one of the things that was holding me back. And when I finally said, you know what, F it, I'm just going to start making cocktails using not using fresh fruit. I'm just going to be making cocktails using bottled juices for lime juice, lemon juice, and all the other juices. And I started doing that in the summer of 2020, and 5.5 years later, I'm still doing that. If you ask for any cocktail that contains a fruit juice, like you ask for a margarita, I'm going to be using bottled lime juice. If you ask for a whiskey sour, I'm going to be using bottled lemon juice. If you ask for a jungle bird, bottled pineapple juice, always going to be using bottled juices. And I see myself not only doing that now in the year 2026, but 5 years from now, 10 years from now, even 20, 30, 40 years from now, when I'm still making cocktails at home, I'm going to be always using bottled juices. And this video explains exactly why that's true. Anyways, that's all I have for this video. If you found the advice helpful, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I really like to do 2 styles of videos on this channel. The first will be like this one, where it's a talking head style video where I give general advice about home bartending, answer questions, share tips and tricks, share stories from my own journey and things like that I hope will help you guys become better home bartenders. And the second style of video will be a tutorial showing you all how to make a specific cocktail. Anyways, that's all I have for this video. Thank you. Cheers.